Most people assume that personality is something hidden deep inside the mind, something that only becomes visible in serious conversations or extreme situations. But that's not where personality reveals itself. It shows up in small behaviors, tiny signals in daily life that most people overlook. How someone says, "I'll think about it." How they react when interrupted. How they wait in line. How they respond to minor inconvenience. How they speak to service workers. How they enter a room. These moments aren't dramatic. They're subtle, but they're also honest. And once you know how to look, you begin to see patterns everywhere. In psychology, behavior is often described as the automatic output of internal processes. People don't usually calculate how to sit, how long to pause before replying, or how to look around a room. These behaviors leak out from the subconscious. When we're not trying to impress anyone, our attention relaxes. The brain stops monitoring performance and switches to default settings. Researchers call this low cognitive control, and it's in this state where behavioral patterns are most visible. This is why trained observers, therapists, negotiators, investigators, focus on small behaviors instead of big statements. Big statements can be rehearsed. Small behaviors are harder to edit in real time. If you watch people long enough, you'll notice that small behaviors consistently reveal priorities. For example, time priority. Some people rush even when there's no reason. Others move slowly even when they're late. Control priority. Some people need to decide where to sit, what to order, or when to leave. Others prefer to follow. Status priority. Some people constantly compare, compete, or correct. Others downplay achievements or avoid attention. None of these behaviors are random. They reflect what the mind values when no one is watching. Small behaviors also expose tolerance thresholds. Frustration, tolerance. Noise tolerance, ambiguity tolerance. Silence tolerance, unpredictability. Tolerance. How people handle small stress says far more than how they handle big stress. Because big stress activates performance mode, small stress reveals default mode. Why do small behaviors reveal so much? Because the brain cannot consciously supervise every action. There are simply too many, so it prioritizes impression management in situations that matter. Interviews, negotiations, first dates, formal events. But outside those contexts, the brain reallocates resources to more urgent tasks such as planning, scanning the environment, processing emotion, solving problems, daydreaming. In that state, behaviors slip out automatically. Psychologists refer to these as micro-behaviors, brief, often unnoticed actions that give away internal states. They don't reveal everything, but they reveal enough. What someone fears, desires, avoids, or protects. Noticing these signals doesn't mean judging or labeling people. The goal isn't to diagnose, it's to observe. When you observe without rushing to interpret, patterns become clearer. Someone who apologizes for everything is not necessarily weak. They might have been taught that reducing friction keeps them safe. Someone who interrupts constantly is not necessarily rude. They may have learned that space in conversation must be taken, never given. Someone who refuses help is not necessarily independent. They might feel that accepting help creates debt. Behavior always makes sense once you understand the context that shaped it. But you can't see the context without first noticing the pattern. Personality isn't hidden. It's expressed quietly. In small gestures, minor preferences, tiny reactions, and brief pauses. Most people don't notice because they're focused on what others say. But words are cheap. Behavior costs energy, and energy doesn't lie as easily. Once you learn how to observe, you start seeing the mind in motion. not through dramatic moments, but through everyday life. This is inner patterns.